Okay, so how to make the first part of a face. You start with a cube and we need to subdivide it, but we're not going to subdivide it with the subdivision surface because it gives too many subdivisions. So go into edit mode up here and set object edit mode, or you can hit tab and then select everything. So if nothing's selected, hit A to select everything. Alt A deselects. Hit A, right click on your object, and there's a subdivide option, and then down here we have the last operator. So if I open that, I can just increase this to 5. Then I'm gonna convert this to a sphere, and I believe there is a shortcut here, but Alt Shift S. I just think of S for scaling. I'm not sure if Shift S is for snapping, but Alt Shift S scales to sphere. So go into 1 on the numpad, and I'm going to hit Z to find my wireframe. And your shading options are up here. So Z, you can choose that. I'm going to deselect everything with Alt A. A selects everything. Alt A deselects. B goes into box select, and I'm going to select this half of the vertices. X, delete the vertices. Then I'm going to open up the modifier wrench over here and add a mirror. And so now that's mirrored. I'm not going to work too much on shaping it, but right now it's a sphere, so if I just select everything and grab it and move it on the... you need to make sure you turn on clipping in the mirror modifier. So now if I grab all those vertices and move it on the X, you can start doing that. But I think what I'm going to do is grab this farthest edge vertice, hit O to enter proportional editing, or up here, here's proportional editing. So yeah, O, and I'm going to hit G, X, and then I'm going to increase with the scroll wheel, increase the radius of influence. I'm going to go into the side view with number pad 3. Just bring this up a bit. Maybe rotate that a bit. Maybe bring that out a bit to round it. And for now, that's probably good enough. So then here's kind of a crucial part that let's make a chin. So I think this line right here where the vertices go down, I think that would be I think that has to be the chin area. So I'm just grabbing and rotating with R. And so the mouth is going to be, I'm going to go into face select mode. They're up here, face, edge, vertice, face. I'm going to hit C, my circle select tool, and select, I believe, those 9 faces. I think I tried doing it once and I accidentally got these 9, and it kind of has to be right there, and I'll show you, if you'll know it's correct when like this third step happens. So I'm going to hit extrude with E, and then I'm going to scale it with S, but right now I have proportional editing on, so I'm going to turn that off with O. Now I'm going to scale it, and I'm going to push it in GX, push it in on the X, and maybe I'll go into this side view and bring it out so it's not so weird looking. So you know if you did it right, if you go to make a loop cut with Control R or a ring cut, it should make these nice rings around the mouth. So I'm going to just make 3 and click once to confirm and click again to confirm the place. And then, so with those 3 rings selected and these, hold all. So if I just if I just click these edges, and I'm in edge select mode, you select one at a time, but if I hold Alt and select, it selects like the linked edges. So I'm going to hold Shift to increase my selection, and I'm still holding Alt Shift and just clicking on these. Now if I right click, I might have to be in vertex select mode, but I'll just shift to vertex, right click, and there's a smooth vertices. I'm going to open up the last operator and just increase that smooth a bunch. Let's see, 20. Sure, that's good. Go to this. I'll bring this out. Oop, bring that out. And these will be the mouth and lips. Just gonna clean up this geometry a touch. GG slides. If I grab a vertex and hit GG, it'll slide it along whatever edge it's on. Okay, and then I'm in face select mode. I think I'm just gonna scale those down and then hit E to extrude, and it should, I'm gonna extrude once, so that's like the inside of the lip, and then extrude again, and then scale on the Z axis a bit, and then S, scale on the X, and then just delete those faces. So that is kind of the start of a face. Now let's just kind of work the lips a bit. So I think well, I'm not sure if this is the best way, but I think if I hold Alt with the face select mode, and if I click on that divider, I'm going to select all those, extrude, and scale those in. And then I'm going to pull those out. And yes, so now we're going to enter sculpt mode, and it also, we're going to do a few things before we enter sculpt mode. One, add a subdivision surface. But when in sculpt mode, I'm not actually going to be sculpting these new vertices created. I'm just going to be sculpting on these, which there aren't many. And so in order to see those, go into your object properties, the square, go into viewport display, and turn on wireframe. So that's with the subdivision surface. That's that wireframe. But if I do optimal display, so this is my actual geometry. So now I'm going to go into sculpt mode, and I'm just going to use this grab tool, which is this one. Go into front, and I can increase the radius of influence, and I'll just maybe pull this up. I might need another loop cut in there, so I'll tab, go into edit mode. I think I'm just going to grab this edge, so I'm going to hold Alt, click it, and I'm going to just bevel it with Control B, and make sure there's no extra rings, so just make sure your scroll wheel is down. And then I'm going to scale this new edge here. Okay. So we're just going to play with it and see. I'm just grabbing these edges. These edges should come down. It might help to have a reference of lips. These come in. So I have a feeling, okay, so I'm going to go back into edit mode. This geometry is crazy, but with the subsurf it looks fine. And I'm going to turn on proportional editing. And go back into edit mode. It's kind of hard to see which vertice. Oh, turn off proportional editing. It's kind of hard to see the vertices because And I'm going to turn on proportional editing. So you just got to play with it a bit. But this isn't horrible. This geometry is pretty crazy looking. Like that's what it actually looks like. But when you turn on the subdivision surface, it really smooths it out. In proportional editing, if you turn on connected only, it'll only affect the vertices that are like actually touching. So right now, if I'm moving this bottom lip one, which I can't get to, so I'm in wireframe. Notice how it's not moving the bottom lip. I'm going to make another ring cut right around that lip just to pinch. I'm going to move this up. I'm going to turn off proportional editing, move. Scale that in, maybe. Well, anyways, let's go back into object mode, right click on our object, smooth shading, and let's turn off wireframe, and we have something started with nice mouth geometry.